She's a renowned leadership strategist and founder of the Maverick Paradox, a trusted mentor to C-suite leaders and the voice of challenge in the world of leadership development. She's made it her mission to create clear-thinking, decisive leaders who transform culture. Author, podcaster, and consultant, she champions the power of maverick thinking in leadership. And we need it because you know what? Most sales teams today aren't really teams. They're parallel performers and they're working towards a shared number, but they're not doing it with each other. And most sales managers are leading like they've got a rugby squad, when in reality what they've got is a track relay. Now the mismatch there creates all kinds of friction, ineffective coaching, bad pipeline meetings, burned out managers and reps who just drift. So we built the Leadership Reset. It's a short, sharp program to recalibrate how sales managers lead. You set clear expectations, you build identity without the fluff, and then you coach for autonomy without going hands off. It's not training, it's a model shift. And when the model fits the team, performance scales a whole lot more easy. Check it out at the Practical Leadership Academy. And this is the Practical Leadership That Sells podcast. Judith Germain, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you. What a lovely way to introduce someone. And it's good to hear that the stuff that you do seems to be quite aligned to what I'm thinking as well.
I'm so glad, but it was a far too short introduction. What did I miss out?
Oh gosh, I'm a multiple award winning consultant. I speak a lot. I do a lot of public speaking. You said I wrote a book, which is true. I do a lot about influence, and I'm asked. My opinion's been sought around the globe, so I've written in lots of magazines and things like that. And I've been on BBC Radio a couple of times too.
Oh, we won't hold that against you. It's fabulous. Well, the book, we mentioned there the book, the Maverick Paradox. This is the whole idea. What is a maverick and why is it paradoxical?
Right, okay, so being a socialized maverick myself, I didn't like any of the definitions for maverick, so I defined it myself. So I define mavericks to be willfully independent people. And when I say willful, I don't mean like a toddler stamping their feet going, gimme, gimme, gimme. I mean, it's like you understand what you want to do. It's the right thing to do. So you will do it despite people saying no. So you're standing on your integrity. This is what I'm going to do because it's the right thing to do.
Because I mean, I looked this up, right? So it's a bullock or heifer that has not been branded and is unclaimed or wild. And it's supposed to be from Maverick, the name of a cattle owner in Texas who refused to brand his cattle.
Yeah, and him refusing to brand his cattle meant that he could take any cattle that hadn't yet been branded. So
that one's mine.
Yeah, so he ended up having a lot of cattle.
Which, if you think about it, you follow the Maverick protocol, and you lean into the paradox. It's a recipe for success, is it not?
Yeah, I define mavericks in two ways. So you have a socialized maverick. That's the kind of maverick you can bring home to your family. Okay, right. So they're the one who know how to get what they want by enabling you to get what you want. And then you've got extreme maverick. So I'll give an example. We can look at Barack Obama and we can look at Donald Trump and say they're both maverick leaders. One is socialized and one is extreme.
Yeah, and I'll leave you to work out which one it is depending on where you're listening to this from, because my wife's American and all the Americans we know love Mr. Trump. Absolutely adore him. Now, your book explores the idea that maverick leaders are willfully independent. Okay, so it's that willful independence, but also pathologically curious. Now, curiosity and the courage of independence, I think, are the two of the biggest things I hire for in any role, but in particular sales leadership roles. How could that mindset of independence and curiosity there help sales leaders build stronger but more autonomous teams?
Because if we encourage curiosity, then we can get rid of outdated ideas like always going for the close. Because we're a bit more sophisticated than that now, aren't we? So if we say pathologically, is that we're going to continuously do it. So we're constantly being curious about, especially in sales, like the individual, the context that they're in, why they need the thing that you want them to buy. That's the difference. So if you're a sales leader and you have a team that's pathologically curious, you're going to generally move to a more collaborative point of view, because if they see someone who is a better salesperson, for example, that curiosity is going to lead them to asking and finding out why without the competition. And that person who is like maybe the better booker will want to help the other person because they're curious as to what they can learn from the exchange as well. So it can get rid of needless competition within a team that is cannibalizing the potential of the whole team. You want to move out.
I think the challenge when you're thinking of the pathological nature of anything is it becomes very quickly you're borderline red line. So you're not quite, you don't want lounge music, and neither do you want atonal cacophony. You want jazz right in the middle.
Exactly.
So you're balancing this high functioning, high value, but not messy pabellum and not chaotic nonsense. You want the valuable bit in the middle. So that's the challenge, is where you have people who are, as you said, pathologically curious, rather than just being, as I would just say, curious, because I've never used the word pathologically in a positive environment, but pathologically curious. It's really interesting. It's, and I suffer a bit from being a very active learner. I will learn and learn and learn and learn, and that's my version of procrastination. And that took me a long time to realize I wasn't procrastinating. Sometimes I wasn't procrastinating, but was actually just trying to gather the right amount of information so that I could make the informed decision. My red line, my challenge, is that I can easily say, oh, rabbit hole, and I'll just follow that and I'll keep on.
But there is a way around that. So Maverick leaders are execution and output minded.
Yeah.
So they're curious as long as that curiosity leads to something. So they're not just pathologically curious with no reason. So if they're leading to execution. So the knowledge that they're gaining will lead to execution of something. So that's why they're pathological, because there's an end point.
Yeah, and it's the interesting idea that laziness or procrastination, maybe that is a misframed focus on the moment rather than on the outcome. So I'm focusing on the thing that I'm doing rather than the thing that I'm doing gives. And it's just, I think, a reframe in your head to think that I'm not doing this for the thing, I'm doing this for what happens. So I don't go to the gym to go to the gym, I go to the gym to stay fit. You know, it's a sales paradox as well. You know, you're not selling socks because socks are good, you're selling warm feet.
Yeah, another reframe as well for me, I've noticed that if I'm procrastinating, subconsciously there's something not right with the thing that I'm going to do. So I found that, because being executionally minded, I just tend to get on with it. But when I'm finding myself procrastinating, when I start to dig, I either don't believe the individual or it's a pathway I shouldn't be following anyway. There's always a reason. So rather than getting angry like I haven't done it before, I stop and go, why am I not doing it? And that's that pathological curiosity coming back. Why am I not doing this? Because I've already stated it's important to me. Yeah. And from digging, it might be, I'm going down the wrong end. It's like my book. So like I'm writing my second book now, and I've procrastinated for 2 years, right? And I was just...
That's not procrastination, that's a heart attack.
Yeah, and I suddenly realised it's because what I wanted to do with the book is wrong, but I didn't want to admit it to myself. And once I really why am I not writing this book? I suddenly realised, because what I want to put in there, it's all wrong. It's like, it's just not the right thing to be doing. And now I know what I'm doing, so I'm no longer procrastinating. So it's understanding yourself.
Listening to the small, still voice of calm.
I like that.
What is it? It's the psalm, isn't it? Through the earthquake, wind and fire, your small, still voice of calm, you know?
Oh, wow.
So he's on the hills, and I think it's Samuel. And he's trying to listen to the voice of God, maybe Abraham, I can't remember. It's one of the early Old Testaments, and he's trying to listen to the voice of God, and the earthquake comes. No. The waves come, the storm comes. No. And then in the peace, it's that small, still voice that speaks, and that's the one you should be listening to. It's that, so when you get it's how the world works, that's how we're made, is that when you get that core, that message that comes through, and you actually learn to listen to it, you learn to listen, you learn to trust yourself. I think it's a big part of this dealing with the pathological nature of curiosity. That it can be very easy to fall into the atonal chaos. But when you get jazz and you get that Mihai Csikszentmihalyi focus, that's of the flow piece.
Yeah, I love
high performance. Yeah.
I love the idea of jazz because Maverick leadership is contextualized. It's all about the context, and it's all about adapting. So the idea of playing jazz, and when you play jazz well, is you're constantly adapting to what else is happening around you. It's a perfect analogy.
Yeah. There's a lovely piece as well. It's a very good friend of mine who's a dancer as well as being a business chap. And he says it takes a great deal of effort to be a free spirit. And there's the wonderful thing is when you've got recordings of Dizzy Gillespie and he's playing, and there's a couple of film recordings and you see him raising his hand like this, just numbers, and you think, oh, he must be controlling things. No, he's finding them. Yeah, when he hears somebody make a mistake, $2, wow. $5, he's finding them, right? It's because the intensity and the collaboration and the degree to which this team has to work to perfection to create this free form, wonderful sound, but the compressed focus that has to be there in order to perform that jazz. This is beautiful. Anyway, there's kind of distraction there. Now, one of the big things this is a piece about, I think, clarity of thought. Is you say that you try to help create clear thinking yet decisive leaders, execution focused leaders. Where do you start? What are the first steps a sales manager, for example, should take when they're trying to lead more decisively, but not be controlling? Because in a sales team, that can be devastating. Because it's not a team of different performers. It's a team of individuals who happen to report to the same person.
Mm-hmm. And an orchestra.
No, not even. I think it's because an orchestra isn't a collection of soloists. An orchestra plays differently. If you think of the sports analogy, which is sometimes it works, is you're thinking of football or rugby, and it's a team of, you get somebody who's good at this, somebody who's good at that, and they come together to a goal. This is a group or a collective, or what do you call it? A competency.
It's a group, not a team. Gotcha.
Yes, of golfers. Yeah, you've got 10 golfers working for you, but they're all playing on different courses. So what do you do for them? Why would they want to work with you? Because they don't want to work with each other. What can they get out of each other? They can learn from each other, but I don't really care what you did. I want to learn from you. But if you get 10 out of 10 and I get 3 out of 10, it's nothing to do with each other. The only person that concerns is the boss. It's the two sorts of teams. You have the interdependent sort of team, they work together because of their differences, and you have the extra dependent team that happen to work together. They learn together because of their similarities. That's the difference here. So when you're thinking about this move of enhancing the Maverick, typically it would be the sales leader trying to work with a bunch of, it can be prima donnas, but the Mavericks in their team. How can you lead decisively without becoming controlling?
Okay. Well, I'm glad you used the word lead, because you can't manage a Maverick. You can't, you're just not going to work.
You manage things.
Yeah, you can lead. So when I talk about decisiveness, I'm talking about someone who's driven, and driven for me is an acronym. So the first one is about determination. All right. So how determined are you to get this done, and how determined are the individuals? So there's a measure of determination. A really important one, the R is about reputation. So reputation are 4 things. Do they have a track record of success? Are they competent in what they do? What are they like in terms of character? What's the character trait there? Do they have integrity all the way through? And what's the intention? So how clear is the intention? Then the I for me is about influence. So that's understanding how you influence people. So influence, not manipulation. So I know sometimes you have a sales leader that wants to manipulate, so they use coercive persuasion. You will get this commission if you do this sort of thing, which is fine to a point, but it's not sustainable. If you want to influence someone, you need to align them. So you win, I win, society wins. That's what you're looking for influence. The V is about versatility. So how versatile are you? How can you flex? So this is about bringing the context. This is about flexing. This person needs this, that person needs that. So I've got a framework and I'm fair, but I'm going to flex here and I'm going to flex there because that's what they individually need. So the E is about execution and the N is about narration. Now that's something that salespeople should know about. How well do you narrate the thing that you need to do? So you've got this group, this collective group, which is not a team. What's the narration? So there's an overall narration for what the whole group needs to achieve, but there's an individual narration. And that narration will be different because the circumstances are different from each person. One person selling might want to buy their first house. So your narration is about how you can make that happen. Another one might be they're going for a tricky divorce or whatever. Whatever it is that is motivating and is important for that person is where the narration is going to fit. And this is not about, so if you're a good Maverick leader, you are respected and trusted and seen as trustworthy. So this is not about making stuff up. This isn't about manipulating people to do things. This is about honest, caring, and honestly trying to work together to achieve something. Does that help?
It does a lot. It does a lot. I love that. Driven. Okay, so I'm just maybe recapping that. You've got determination. It's the will, the desire, the drive.
The willful independence in play.
There we go. Willful independence in play. I like that. Reputation, success, competence, character, intention, influence. How you get people to where they need to be. I mean, my shorthand definition of leadership is getting people on a journey towards something where they would not get on their own. You know, there's somewhere they won't get on their own. As individuals, you might get quite far. It's the proverb, you know, you want to go fast, go on your own. You want to go far, you go together.
With others, yeah.
Influence and the versatility, how you flex, you bring that context to life. Execution, how well you do what you do. And narration, storytelling, I like that. How you tell the story of what's important.
Can I just make a distinction of execution and implementation? So a lot of people implement, right? And that means they have a strategic plan, they follow the plan, and it gets done, right? Execution doesn't start with the plan. It starts with the strategic thought beforehand. And it means that you look to see that whatever you've executed delivers what you planned it to happen. So, for example, I'll give you COVID. People had to get paid during COVID. All the payroll systems required people to be physically in a building to do, right? But what happened, there was a plan, it got implemented, everybody got paid on time. Amazing. The execution was terrible. Payroll staff burnt out, saying I'll never do payroll again. There was this unexpected, well, I wouldn't say they're unforeseen circumstances, because you could, if you had thought about it, you would have foreseen this was going to happen. And that's the difference between implementation tends to be, I have a strategic plan that I'm following and I've done it. Whether it actually solves the problem is a different thing. So if you put it in the sales, you could say, I've got a sales member who has implemented the script. Did they sell anything though?
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, that is huge.
They've implemented exactly the protocol. They followed all the frameworks. Execution was terrible though. Why? Maybe they ran through the script really fast and didn't stop to listen. So Maverick leaders are looking for execution, not implementation.
That's my takeaway. I love your differentiation here. Execution, not implementation. Okay, Maverick leaders execute, they don't implement. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Sorry if I keep jumping in.
No, that was immensely valuable. In that context, then, and thinking of the poor sods who are the only ones who are actually responsible for a collective target in a sales team, and that's the manager, the leader of that team, because the individuals, I'm sure they care, but they don't care. You know, how do you then? How would you encourage a sales leader in that situation to cultivate that independence in their team members makeup with still having to drive towards clear targets. So how do you encourage a sales leader to cultivate, to grow that independence in their team while still driving towards clear targets, the autonomy?
Well, the thing is, first thing is that you need to have a structure that is guideline based, not rigid. Mm-hmm. All right. So quite often, especially sales teams, there's certain ways to record the sales and do all this stuff that you don't necessarily need to follow, because the end execution is we need a record. How you put that record could actually stop you getting the sales, for example. So make sure that you have a good guideline type structure that fits the purpose of what you want to do. You have to remember that you, the leader, is instrumental to whether something gets executed or not. So if you think about leadership in itself has often been taught as manipulation. If I follow this, whatever system it is, I can get you to do whatever I need you to do, which is ridiculous, right? Or maybe it worked in Industrial Revolution a little bit. But if you think about it, me, the leader, who I am, what I care about, what I bring is just as important to whether that person in front of me is actually going to do the work. So you need to be somebody that people care enough to want to follow. So if you're a sales leader that's trying to get people to work to get a group into a team, but you don't show genuine care, you don't treat them in a way that's respectful or engender trust in yourself, it's just not going to happen. So I think that's probably the key starting point. Be somebody that people want to follow and want to support and help. Make it clear as to, because I always talk about it should be a compelling reason, not your compelling reason. I want a bonus myself, their compelling reason, which is why you got to know them. What is the compelling reason? Because my compelling reason, so we both run podcasts, right? But my compelling reason to do it is different from yours. But if I just had a generic idea of this is why I need to do it, then it's never going to touch anybody. So you have to discover their compelling reason and then be able to align to that compelling reason. And it's different for everybody. So you can't sheep. So that's why I think leadership is personal. You can't sheep dip people through a structure. It needs to be contextualized. Does that help?
I like that. That helps a lot. Tell me, Judith, what you're working on at the moment. You mentioned a second book.
Yes, which is on influence. So I'm very excited about that. I do a lot of work around influence. And whether it's you're a salesperson and a sales leader and you want to influence your group moving forward, or whether you're a salesperson and you want to influence your avatar, your prospect, there are certain things that needs to be done. And the way I look at influence is I look at it as a combination of capability, decisiveness, impact, and power. So I help people utilize those four aspects so that they can influence others.
Okay, say that again. So influence for you is a combination of
capability, which has 8 elements to it, decisiveness, which is driven, and then impact and power. So there's power dynamics which you should be aware of.
Capability, decisiveness, impact, and power. Okay, that's interesting. We don't unfortunately have time to dig into that one. Maybe we have to come back to this another time. I've been studying influence and persuasion and even hypnosis for, 15, 20 odd years. Impact, yes. Capability is interesting. Decisiveness, yes. Power, absolutely. I definitely need some investigation. You said there are 8 aspects to capability as well.
Yeah, there is.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to buy the book when it comes out. Where can we find you when we need you?
Okay, so my website is maverickparadox.co.uk. And if people are interested in doing the influence scorecard, they can do that at amplifyyourinfluence.scoreapp.com.
when we'll have all these links in the description out here. And what happens if I amplify my influence, Judith?
So you see, my Maverick self immediately thought you can get what you want, but I need to explain that so it doesn't sound manipulative. If you amplify your influence, you are able, so from a sales perspective, you are able to sell ethically and responsibly in a way that people want to buy. You'll be able to stand up in a room and have real presence. You will be, even if you're not a salesperson, as anybody, you'll be able to have the capability gives you a strong foundation of who you are and what you do, and it's tangible. So when you speak to people, you're actually to be very clear who you are, what you do, why they should buy for you. It's just that provides that clarity. So some of the work that I do is helping to define people's core identity. So that looks at what's the proposition. So like for salespeople, quite often the proposition that they try, unless you're like Coke or something massive, the proposition that they have tends to be the organization's proposition, but that's not what people are buying. They're buying your proposition. So what is it about you that's different? And especially if you're in a marketplace where there's lots of salespeople trying to sell the same thing, what makes you different? So it takes a couple of hours and it just looks at your proposition, your processes, what makes you different, what makes you stand out. And that sort of core proposition piece helps people sell more, for example.
Highly recommended. That's on my to-do list. Judith Germain, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.